Jason. Today's episode of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast is brought to the good people by Budget Blinds of Lee Summit.
Budget Blinds!
By the way, that was good.
Oh, but that's because I'm in pain. But let's not talk about that.
Hey, did you know?
I bet I... Wait. Is this... No, I probably don't know again.
This is the new did you know?
Shattered my illusion of my own knowledge.
I did. I changed things up. Budget Blinds of Lee Summit is your home for enlightened style shades.
All hail our slightly updated robot shade overlords.
Look, whatever style you need, whether you need, you're the real pretty, whether you want the modern look, whatever you need, they've got it for your home at Budget Blinds. And the part that you and I love best, they got those smart home features.
They do. You can do all that cool stuff from your phone, most importantly, not having to get up.
Right.
To go deal with your...
So look, if you want awesome style and you want to be lazy and play with the new technologies, you really have no option other than Budget Blinds of Lee Summit. So you should go out there, Jason. You know where they are?
I do. They are right in the heart of downtown Lee Summit.
So go see our friends at Budget Blinds of Lee Summit and tell them Jason Nick sent you. Jason, we've got another awesome sponsor of the Lee Summit Town Hall podcast.
New sponsor alert!
It's the Ask Kathy Keller Williams Realty Group. Hey, I love that we get to partner with awesome people. Kathy and her team, they are fun. I don't know if you know Kathy, really, but she's a blast. You want to hang out with somebody cool? It's Kathy and her team.
Yeah, she is, and they are good folks. I've gotten the opportunity to work with Kathy on a couple of different occasions over the years, and she is always very professional, right on top of it. She gives good service to her customers. You can see that with 400 and more 5-star reviews across the social medias. She does a good job. They do a good job there of taking care of their people.
Look, you want to sell a house in Lee Summit? You want to buy a house in Lee Summit? These are your people. These are the people that you want. And next year, 2022, which is almost here, it's their 20th anniversary. So they've been around for a while, kicking some butt.
They have. They are. You can find them. Their office is conveniently located right in the middle of downtown Lee Summit, and the market's still good. As we have learned, the market is still good. All this year, they've been selling their homes for over 100% of the asking price, and an average turnaround time of 5 days, which is just...
It's a little bit insane.
That's an outrageously fast number.
But that's what you get when you are working with Kathy and her team at Ask Kathy Keller Williams Realty. Go see them. When you're ready, tell them Jason Nick sent you.
Hello again, and welcome to Lee Summit Town Hall, a weekly podcast about what you can do to make a difference. I'm Jason Norbury, as always. I am joined by a man who is, for some reason, still wearing a mask. It's not a COVID mask. It's a Halloween mask, but it's not Halloween. It's Nick Parker, the publisher of Link to Lee Summit.
It's my Chewbacca mask.
Yeah. I'm glad you're not making the Chewbacca noises. That's not really a good podcast.
I could never do that.
I can't either, honestly. I was going to try to do one, and then I realized that I already make enough of a fool of myself on this podcast. I don't need to add that in there. But it's a little weird. You're still wearing masks here in mid-November, but we're going to go for it. Link to Lee Summit is the source for all the news you need about our very fine city, and our unofficial sponsor today is Car Troubles. Because I have what appears to be a never-ending list of them as a whole.
Look, I know I shouldn't laugh at you.
But you're going to do
it
anyway.
But I'm doing it because guess what?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, it was my turn.
Yeah. You had a big mess. It's just like I'm bringing a new car online we have to get it registered and all that sort of stuff. And it has been a process. And all I see on that is actually that the next set of repairs I have on one of the other cars that I'm going to do after that, because I don't have the bandwidth, man, to deal with more than one car busted at one time.
No, look, if I could find a way to do this, I would never drive again. I would just have a driver. Maybe I should just live my life through Uber.
You think the people would think that we have some sort of political or philosophical reason, we want increased housing and more density and apartments and things like that, as we have sort of pushed for over the years. And no, it's really because we want to just live close to everything and only walk.
Right. Yeah. No, it fits my lazy lifestyle. Yeah. Hey, Jason, I hate to kill your car trouble talk.
It's okay.
But we got some stuff. we got some stuff to talk about. First thing, I want to give a couple little news and notes. Tomorrow is the Truman Heartland Community Foundation. It's their annual grants luncheon. This is a huge day for a lot of area and local nonprofits. They're going to give a ton of money to nonprofits who need it to do great work around the area. So that's a big thing.
Right, and you can go back in our archives, and we did have an interview with Truman Heartland at one here in the, well, I don't know.
Phil Hansen?
Yeah, Phil Hansen, and it was, I think it was in 2020, but who knows? That year is a blur, so let's just pretend it was.
But you can go check out all of the nonprofits who will be receiving grants from the Truman Heartland Foundation at Link to Lee Summit. Just go look that up, and you can see that. There's probably an organization that you know, work with, support that's on that list. So this is a pretty big deal. Nice to see all of this money going to organizations that do great work in our community. Jason, the note that I really want to get to.
Yeah, this is it's like the shortest one of our list on our rundown, but it's the one I knew as soon as I saw it that Nick was the most excited about.
The thing I am excited about. Friday night. Santa!
It's true. I saw Santa posted a tweet recently with a picture of Santa's face on it, and I was so excited. I almost blasted out the elf reference, like an elf meme from the town hall account, but I did not. But yes, very exciting. The tree lighting is on Friday.
Mayor's tree lighting, downtown Lee Summit, Friday.
Yep, absolutely. Santa's going to be there. The mayor's going to be there because his name's on the event. But we're gonna have that event, and we're going to. It's always a great time. Lots and lots of people. You know, like we've gotten, as we'll refer to here in a minute, there's been some, the mask mandates are a little bit lifted. Everybody's feeling a little bit like a lot more vaccinations
we didn't
going
have this
on.
last year.
Didn't have it, so it's back. It's good. We'll have the lights. We'll have the Santa. We'll have the whole bit. It's going to be great for the community.
A lot of the stores are open late if you want to do some shopping.
Right. I do believe that members of my household will be doing some assistive stuff during that period of time as well. I think one of them is doing mascotting of some sort, so it'll be a good time for that. So it's good. It's going to be a lot of fun. And we encourage you to come downtown and enjoy the lights on Friday.
And really, is there anything cooler looking than our downtown when it's lit up for the holiday season?
No, it is so, of all the things, that's one of the things that really gets me in the positive mood for the holidays. And a little confession, I'm not a big holiday guy.
You're wrong.
I know I'm wrong, and I understand that. And this is one of my, this is my confession. I'm a bad person, and this is one of the key symptoms that you see that tells you that I am a bad person. But I will say this, that the sight of downtown Lee Summit with the lights on and the people and the stuff, it does warm my heart. It gives me a little bit of a little holiday glow to go within there. So it does help to fight off my sort of humbuggery of the season.
So there you go, guys. Everybody make plans. Come downtown Friday evening, Mayor's tree lighting. It's a great time. There's always a good crowd. The lights turn on, and we get to see Santa. Okay, little news time. Jason.
Yeah, stuff happened.
Let's talk about masks. Or the lack thereof.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like we're kind of like, I will say, all right, so as we discussed last week, on Friday of last week, on last week's show, we had pointed out that there would be a conversation on Friday for Jackson County on a motion to repeal the mask mandate. It passed 5-4, so it wasn't a unanimous decision by any stretch, but the mask mandate has been ended in Jackson County, which means that for the vast majority of the stores that you go into, if they were following the mask mandate for that reason, they're there. And it's done. And the mask mandate is kind of over. Now, that has, I think, fallout on the rest of the community.
Right. And as we saw, as KCMO changed theirs before the county did, they still require their masks in the schools. Right. So what we've seen is school districts now adjust their policies based on what the county did. The Lee Summit LSR7 Board of Education will meet tomorrow, and part of its meeting agenda is to discuss what changes, if any, they will have to their mandate policy, because as was noted at the last city council meeting, they are their own governing body, so they will make that decision. But just to give you a quick comparison from neighboring school districts, Kansas City, Missouri is still requiring masks in their schools, at least until December 2nd. It's important to note, there is one elementary school in the Lee Summit School District that sits in Kansas City city limits, so it will fall under that mask order
regardless
of what the Board of Education in Lee Summit does. So it will require masks until at least December 2nd. Just to the north of us, Independent School District, they changed theirs. So masks are now optional for secondary students in Independence and required for elementary students, staff throughout the district. It's optional for them to wear masks. And in Blue Springs, which also covers a little bit of students in our community, Blue Springs lifted all of the mask mandates throughout the school district. So we'll see what Lee Summit decides to do on Thursday evening as they have their meeting. I think it's also important, Jason, that we remind everyone for kids who ride the school buses that it still falls under a federal mandate for mask wearing. So when you're on the bus, no matter what the school district does, when you're on the bus, you'll still need to wear your mask.
Right. And I will say this, is I don't have any prediction on what R7 will do. And I don't even know that you can draw a comparison based on what like Blue Springs or Independence did, because Blue Springs School District was, I would say, significantly more resistant to mask requirements in their schools, like from at the school board level, at the elected politician level, than R7 has demonstrated they would be. And I think that the staff and what have you at Blue Springs was also not resistant to it, but also more willing to have a more relaxed mask policy than R7 has had throughout the course of this process. So
I think you're right that all the different school districts have all approached the entire pandemic differently. I mean, a few times we had people try to compare even the quarantining rules, the in-person versus virtual. Every approach from every school district was a little bit different, and you really just couldn't compare them because first off, the cities serve different clientele, right? The communities are different economically. Everything is different. So I think what we've seen is there's really no way to compare. It's just interesting to note what the others are doing, and because there's some overlap.
Right,
our district has overlap.
Right, has overlap. So there'll be people in Lee Summit that have no mask mandate. We're going to have people in Lee Summit schools that will have a mask mandate until December at a minimum, just as a whole. I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar to what Independence is doing, sort of given the potential for there are no fully vaccinated 6-year-olds right now is the easiest way I can describe it, right? It's only been eligible to receive the shot for a couple of weeks, which means people at best probably right now those kids have their first shot of the 2, and then they add the 2 weeks. So You're looking at middle of December to the first of the year before any significant proportion of the kids in elementary schools will even be able to be fully vaccinated in, using the quotes. Plus you give them some, so I wouldn't be surprised to see something of a split like that, where like the middle and upper schools have a slightly different policy than the elementary schools, simply just because there aren't enough vaccinated people as a percentage in many of the buildings right now. And they'll probably revisit it again in another month or two, because honestly, that's the way they should be dealing with this. Like every month or two, we should be looking at these policies to see if there's a problem that we can make a change for.
Right. And I think we'll continue to see that. It'll be interesting to watch the Board of Education's discussion between each of the board members.
I'm certain that any public comments will be full of caution and careful wording, and nobody will get overheated about anything.
That's usually the case. Yes. I kept a straight face to that.
That was good.
Hey, speaking of keep a straight face.
Oh, it is. We're so close to it.
We're so close to silly season. Hey, we are less than 1 month away from election filing period. It's a little weird this year. We've kind of hinted at it, but it's because of a change to state statute. The filing period for April, the spring election, is really short. It opens December 7th and runs through December 28th. And again, that's based on rules set at the state level.
Blame Jefferson City.
Always blame Jefferson City. So look, here are the big things we're going to watch here locally, Jason. There are 2 seats that will be up for election in the Lee Summit R7 Board of Education, and there will be 4 seats for the Lee Summit City Council, as well as a mayoral election. Let's run through those real quick, Jason. Tell us what's going on at the Board of Education level.
All right, so 2 seats are up, and as you know, every year we have a Board of Education election. It's either 2 or 3, depending on the year. This is a 2-person year. The 2 seats that are up are the ones currently inhabited by Mike Allen and Dr. Judy Hedrick. Neither has, as of time of press here, made a public announcement of their intent to run for re-election. That doesn't mean that they will or they won't. They just haven't said so yet. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if there isn't like some like official announcement of anything until after they've already filed for re-election, if they're going to run at that point. So don't hold your breath that there's going to be like a big hoo-ha about this. It's just going to be a thing that there. So we will watch that one to see. But that's I'm going to call it a cattle call election, right? It's everybody casts 2 votes for 2 different candidates. So one or both of them could get reelected. It could be, it can all work in a whole bunch of ways.
The candidates are ranked by votes, and the top two get the seats. If you are interested in filing to run for the Summit R7 School Board, you will do that at the Tony Stansberry Leadership Center over off of boy, Jason, my brain just went blank.
Tudor Road.
Over Tudor Road by Lee Summit North High School. You can file again. It starts December 7th through December 28th. You file at that office for Board of Education seats between 7 and 4:30 on Monday through Friday. The exception is between December 22nd and 27th, the office will be closed for holiday break, so you can't file on those days. If you want to file for the city council or you want to file to run for mayor, you will do that over at the city clerk's office at City Hall.
Well, since you mentioned City Hall, let's talk about what they're there. So there are 5 races. So this is our big silly season this year, right? It's the big race.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun.
That we get every couple of years. There are 4, and I will say this. So there are 4. 2 of the races. District 1, which is currently held by Diane Forte. She will not be running for re-election as city council member because she is termed out. More on her later. District 2, Trish Carlisle, is also termed out, and so there will be an open seat as well. And I don't think there's been anybody officially announced. There's like social media rumblings and what have you, but we bring you verified facts here on the Lee Summit Town Hall Podcast. No scurrilous or scandalous rumors that we're going to run around. District 3's seat. So as in case this wasn't clear already, there's 1 spot in each district that's up every 2 years. So this year in District 3, it's Beto Lopez's seat that will be up for re-election. Once again, no announcement from Beto or anyone else that we've heard that's running. And in District 4, Bob Johnson is running. I want to say something. I wanted to poke at Bob, but I'm not going to do it because we're trying to be nice here. He is up for re-election, and he has at least publicly through social media made note that he's gonna be running for re-election.
And when we do poke Bob,
we love
everybody
you, Bob.
should know it's all in good fun.
Right. We love Bob. Don't get us wrong. I mean, I have my differences with some of his decisions and stances on things, but he is, I will say this, he is a professional and sort
public
of like
servant.
Public servant as it goes. And so my harassment for Bob is in good fun.
Now, Jason, here's where things might get a little interesting.
Spicy.
So, Mayor Bill Baird is also up for re-election. His first term is over. He has not announced yet whether or not he will run for re-election, but you gave a little foreshadowing earlier, and here it is. You can read about this over at linktoleesummit.com. Councilmember Diane Forte has announced that she intends to run for mayor.
She has. So she spoke with our guest columnist, John Bedoin, and like it's my website. But as with the guest columnist on the website, John Bedoin, spoke with him and had. So
I give you 1% an intellectual claim to the website.
Yeah, that's what's that worth nowadays?
Nothing.
Yeah, it's like Enron stock, honestly. So anyway, so I spoke to her. So you want to read, if you want to see her thoughts on that whole subject and the running for mayor and what John has to say, you should go over to the website and click on his column for that. So that's it. We have 5 open seats and 2 declared candidates for city council. We have 2 open seats and 0 declared candidates on the school board. But we are still, as you noted, just a little under a month away from being able to file for that. And
I'm going to make a plea, Jason, because there's one thing that you and I, every time elections roll around, there's one thing that we really, can I say demand? We demand this. Well, and everybody should.
We make stompy and sad face noises if that doesn't happen. You're right.
We need contested elections for each and every one of those. multiple people need to be running. We need people involved in the governance of our community.
I'll even go one step further, Nick Parker. Not only do we need multiple people running for those, but we need all of the candidates to engage in the public processes where people can actually get information about that. And as you and I noted with great irritation a couple of years ago, we had a couple of city council races go by where the incumbent candidates basically refused to participate in any public forum or debate about their election. And they both got elected. They both got reelected. So it may be a valid political strategy, but it's bad for the public. It's bad for public and public policy.
It's bad when you are running to be a public servant, a representative of the public. So
short version is, if you're running for election, come on this podcast, you cowards.
Wow, that was harsh. Look, we will continue to do as we always do. We will have questionnaires sent to all of the candidates. We're going to take from you, our listeners, and the readers at Link to Lead Summit. We want suggestions on questions on issues and topics that you think are important for these candidates to address.
If you guys don't do it, it's going to be like hours of questions about federal transportation policy for city council candidates, and nobody wants that. Nobody wants that.
We also will conduct interviews with candidates again, and here's a little teaser. Jason, we haven't done this since the last mayoral election because of many reasons. Mostly COVID ruined everything. I'm looking at another live mayoral candidate forum.
I'm excited for that as a thing.
And look, I think those are important for people to hear their candidates talk publicly, but also to be able to take questions not just from you and I, who we've had a little bit of training to ask questions, but to take questions from the voters,
right?
Because the voters that attend those, we're taking requests from them. We want the candidates to respond to questions and issues that the voters think are important, and this is a great way to do it, and through the technology we can make sure that gets out.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is a thing. So once again, everybody needs to, we want multiple people filing for all of these races, and we want those people to be engaged in the process so that the people, the audience, the voters can have a little bit more opportunity to be engaged in the process and make these votes. And as we have said tons and tons of times, if you want to make the biggest difference, like getting involved at the local level, and I'm not even necessarily saying for running, but just like voting. Right, we celebrate
being an invested and informed voter.
Right, we celebrate like an 18% turnout, and if you stop and think about that for a minute, we celebrate an 18% turnout for an election, for local election, at the elections that really have probably the greatest like day-to-day impact on your life. To do that, so the more people can be informed, the more people can make good voting decisions. Whether we agree with them or not, they're going to make those decisions with information, and that's what we want to take care of this year. So. Everybody is forewarned and forearmed for this next silly season that is coming up. We want people running, and we want people listening.
There you go. That's going to wrap us up for this week. We'll talk to everybody next time.